welcome. This video is about the Malta, Sardinia, Sicily and Italy card routes, their builders and why. It's no coincidence that in these places the card routes are 1 meter 41 centimeters wide. I start with a population turnover event to explain who the builders were and why these massive amount of card routes in Malta. The populations that in sequence inhabited or worked in Malta, starting not later than 4000 BP, probably 8000 BP or before, came from the Americas. I will show that later. And before the year 4000 BP, before 4000 BP, they would have taken over the whole of Western Eurasia. So possibly in only 4000 years they conquered the world, and those card routes in Malta play a strategic role. Of course, they are not the only strategical places. The Mediterranean and certainly the islands would play a major role in this invasion and takeover of the whole of Western Europe. This invasion roughly ended 4000 BP, and Malta was one of the earliest, most strategic hubs because of its location. It is on a sea route, with resources and limited resistance. I mean, it's easier to take over certain small islands than to take over Western Eurasia and the north of Africa. But also because of its light, malleable, multi-purpose and easy to get resources, with even the slope of the whole island facilitating transport to the ports and ships for further export, to build the strategic route, logistics and later growing empire. For the building of all needed logistics inside Malta and those islands and places that I summed up that also have card routes, but the export went probably far away, further east into the Mediterranean amongst others. Some of the resources for this world invasion turnover needed to be mined in mass, quickly and with a minimum of logistics, workers and animals. And that is exactly, and close to ports, that is exactly what the builders, the invaders of the world, found in Malta. These builders had ample experience with mining and transport to ports, etc. from North America, from where they come, which I will show later, and also knew how to make the carts, the wagons, and of course the cart routes, otherwise it would not be an automated system with automated propelling without animal or humans or motor or energy, and braking system. So the material was brought from the higher up mines to the ports, ships and port city below at sea level or close to sea level. Possibly the limestone bed or slabs for the tracks or car ruts were partially natural, possibly scraped to make them horizontal, and partially man-made or man-completed, finished minimally with cart ruts and maintained with a kind of liquid limestone material, which is concrete-like and possibly harder than concrete. Liquid limestone today is a modern building material, and you will find interesting articles about it on the internet. Here's a link. This shows the material. I think it's rather natural looking. So now not about the cart ruts, but about the gravity propelled transport system from the mines higher up to the ports and ships closer to sea level. These ancients chose for heavy duty gravity propelled carts with light and high spoked wheels, dominantly made of wood, and those wheels, those high spoked wheels, are attached at or above a flexible chassis bottom, and this bottom allowing for normal and emergency braking when speed increases on the parts of the track that the ruts get wider. So there are parts close to terminals or stops where the tracks get wider. And when the tracks get wider, there's a mechanical system that brings the bottom of the cart down, scraping over the middle piece between the ruts. Same for if a wheel or a safety pin of a wheel would break down, the heavy cart will inevitably break by falling flat on the high middle section between the ruts. That, in the more dangerous part of the track, run only centimeters under the flat reinforced bottom of the carts. If a brake or an emergency brake would take place, and if it were the automated loop system, then one cart breaking down or being brought to a halt would automatically stop the whole loop. If, for instance, the mine is at 1 kilometer from the ships, then a 2-kilometer loop will carry the carts in 2 directions in a loop, going down with heavy weight and coming up without weight. Apart from the automatic and emergency braking of each of the individual carts, some more advanced networks, and I see characteristics for the more advanced networks, pull the array of charge that are connected to the loop at fixed distances, has to go uphill, because there could be parts that are uphill, with the weight of the array of carts going down, pulling the carts going up over the hill. I will show you the formula and a figure of an exercise for mechanical engineers in just a minute. I will go there and then come back here, and then after that I will show you how such a ropeway, a loop, worked for almost a century without energy in the United Kingdom. It's a very old system. First I will look for the equation. This is how the carts could look like, and the wheels are high. I've read about ruts 50-60 centimeters deep, so the wheel would be 1 meter, 1 meter 20 or more high, to not get stuck, to not hit the bedrock with the axis. But from this photo you have the impression that this is 1 meter 20 or maybe more. So I'm looking for this is the exercise, and this is how carts are pulled up by, in fact in this case, but don't pay attention to that, a number of carts are pulled up by the ones that are going down. There's a formula for that. Of course, these ancient didn't need this formula, but I will later explain that they had much more advanced knowledges than such a formula as the one here. Okay, now I said I would go back. You can see this link by your own. It's an aerial ropeway, in some way even more complex, uses no power, moves 300 tons a day by gravity, and is working somewhere since 1920. The difference is that the carts don't touch the soil. The builders and users of the carts and ruts did not need to know this equation or formula or being able to do this exercise. They could simply equalize the both sides of a hill with the number of carts, or they would equalize both sides of a hill, or they would equalize the whole loop. And then the only thing that would rest is the resistance. So the formula would be much simpler than the one that I just showed you. There's a wide range of simple mechanical possibilities to reduce the speed of an array or in case of any breakdown. One of the simplest is a safety pin in the support of one or more wheels. So I don't go into the mechanical details. I will bring this video to stop. But there is quite some material, but this is a mechanical problem. It's very easy to solve, and in the video I showed you it's solved for roughly over 100 years without energy. If this is a system in the United States and it's pulled by, there's a water tank here, it's pulled by 20 mules, but this is different. This is going up and down of hills, and there is no loop system, and there is no propelling by gravity. This is just the mules and some brakes. There's a brake over here. There's one of the pictures where I can see the brake. I don't see it right here. This is probably the brake. This is the brake. On both sides of the cart, on the biggest wheel. So this is different because they have no track, so they have to brake when going downhill. Otherwise, they would, let's say, kill the animals. And it is by pure force and nothing by propelling by gravity, and they go up. It's just to show that the propelling exists, the loop exists, the electrical system that you see here is because of lightning and etc., because the system itself is pure mechanical. And this is how the cards could have looked like, and the wheels, most importantly, because we are looking, the researchers like Laura are looking for the wheels. So the wheels are spoke wheels, large. There's mechanical reasons for that. And the bigger the wheels, the bigger the forces that keep the cart in the ruts, even in steep corners. Even a cart at high speed cannot go off the tracks because they are, let's say, emerged until here. So this is a superficial superficie of this size that keeps them on track. Okay, so modern high-speed railways, almost defeating time. The most modern high-speed railways are very similar to the Malta cart routes. I will show you in a minute. They use a cement, asphalt, mortar in ballastless slab tracks over high-speed railways tested under extreme climate conditions. So the Malta ruts are certainly tested because they are here, they still there after over 4,000 years. And they use a kind of cement asphalt. I will show you that in a minute. So this is the slabs, the track for high-speed railways. And you see there are no, I forgot the name, there are no ballasts. There's no ballasts. In normal train track there's ballasts. There's no ballasts. There is this slab all over. In the case of the Malta ruts, the concrete base is our natural bedrock or is liquid limestone, similar slab with, if it were liquid limestone, the ruts, the very deep ruts, sometimes 50 to 60 centimeters, can be made while installing the slabs. So this is the exercise for the mechanical engineers. So now we will see, we've spoken a bit over the builders, but we will go further talking about the cart ruts context. To understand the cart ruts, one has to understand the context of the time they were built. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully see you soon in the next video. Bye.